Does anybody know? Go ahead and say it below if you know it. It's different for every region, but as a rule of thumb, it's got an 8.2 multiplier. Okay. What is durable goods manufacturing? Those are considered goods that are going to last longer than 3 years. Non-durable goods are things that are going to last less than 3 years. So if I buy an iPhone, it's non-durable because I ain't going to keep it 3 years. Some people buy an iPhone, they still got the little button. No, I'm just kidding. This is stuff that durable goods and non-durable goods is not defined by how long you keep it, but it's defined by the useful life of that. And so when you think of durable goods, think of automotive manufacturing, right? So if they bring in 1,000 jobs and it's got an 8.3 multiplier, that means it's bringing in 8,300 jobs. Then we look over here and we say, well, how many vacant properties do we have? So there is a way. There's never certainty, but there's probability. And so what we're looking at is things that are highly probable because everything is math, right? When you get paid, you don't want paid in alphabet, you want paid in math, right? Why is that? When you turn in your hours, right? When you get a grade, yeah, they give you an A, but what does the A represent of? Between a 92 and or 93 and whatever, right? There's all math behind it. And so when we start talking about this 7.5% return here on $1 million, does this make sense to you guys? Does this make sense, everybody? Okay. So now here's what you do when you BRRRR. Let's say you buy this property here for 750,000, or let's say you buy this property here for 600,000 bucks, right? You buy it for 600,000. You put 150,000 renovations in it, and it's worth not 750. It's worth $1 million. It's worth $1 million bucks. Does anybody in here believe that you can do that? Let me stop sharing the screen. I just want to know. Can you guys please put your put your cameras on too, man? I want to see you guys. I want to know. I want to know if you guys think you can do this, and if not, I want to know why you don't think you can do this. So comment below. I'm gonna see. You guys think you can do it? I believe it. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so for sure. Okay, so if we all know we can do this, so I don't know why you want to talk about California. It's no different. There's no different. We'll talk about that later. What is your question about California? California, you can even make way more money. Yep. So I think it's a very different market. It is a different market. It is. You can buy, it's so darn expensive. Good. That means you can make more money, right? Now, we won't go into California yet. You can't find what type of return, 7.5%. What are you looking for? Are you doing ADUs? What are you doing out there, brother? So we're not going to go down that rabbit hole yet, but hang in here with me and we'll answer that a little bit later, okay? So now let's jump back over here to this calculator because you guys know I love the calculator, man. Like, I got to love it because it don't lie, right? So now we're in this property for 750,000, but we don't push the value to $1 million. What do? We just created equity, forced equity. We forced equity through renovations, right? Now, I know what some of you guys are saying. I can't find any deals. I'm telling you right now, I was on, I got city groups all over the country, and I was on the phone, on a call last night this time with about 35, 36 of my city group leaders. They said the number one thing that people in the academy are struggling with is finding deals. And I said, okay, so Jarius is going to put construction hell week next week because I'm telling you right now, if you can't find the deals because you don't know your construction numbers, that's it. Jeremy, I should have asked you too last week. I mean, yesterday, because Jeremy, Do you have a shortage of deals at all? Or do you have an abundance of them, right? People who tend to know their numbers, when I say, hey, man, what are you paying for a window? What'd you say, brother?
I don't have a shortage of deals. I can find deals all day.
Okay, hey, let me ask you this, man. How much are you paying to get 1,000 square foot painted?
Materials or no materials?
No materials.
About $2 a square foot.
Okay, and then
With,
how much are the materials gonna be?
I get about 60 sheets per bucket per 5 gallon.
Wait. Hold on. 60 sheets per 5 gallon.
Or
Tell
sorry,
them what
per
you
yeah.
tell them what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, so I'm talking about planning out a whole house. I take everything to the studs for the most part. So everything we put up new drywall. So I need to know per sheet of drywall, 4x8 sheet, half-inch drywall, how much that's going to cost me to get hung, taped, mudded, sanded, painted.
What's your price, Jeremy?
Per painting or for the hanging sheeting and all that?
Man, we in drywall now, baby. I want to know what you're paying for a sheet of drywall.
Well, if you can see behind me, I'm actually at the mansion right now. They're finishing up the drywall, but it's about 40 a square foot to level 5.
You mean 40 a sheet?
It's 40 sheets, excuse me.
That's hung and finished, right?
Correct.
And then what's your material cost on that?
I guess it goes per bunk, but I get it for about $11 a 4x8 sheet.
Yep. And so, see, when you know your numbers, everybody, deals are easy to find. When you don't know your numbers, that's the problem. How can you buy something? That's like running to McDonald's and they say, hey, man, like, how much you paying for burgers? You like, I don't know. We just selling them. Like, how much are the buns? Like, man, I don't know. We just selling them. People just buying them. Like, you have to know your numbers, man. Thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate that, brother.
For sure, sir.
Yeah, so look, we done took this property, we bought it for $600,000, we put $150,000 in it. We created $1 million in value. We're in it for $750,000. This is the BRRRR method. I'm going to go back to the bank because this property now worth $1 million is going to bring 7.5% return with $75,000 a year. And I'm going to borrow 75% because I don't want to have any money in the deal. So I'm going to borrow the $750,000 back. I have no money in the deal now. Okay. So if I got $750,000 in the deal, now I got to go get bank debt. And let's just say my bank debt is right now I could probably get 6%. Actually, Fannie and Freddie got stuff at 5.3. Let's just say I'm locking it in at 6%. But let's say it's amortized over 30 years. That 6% is going to look like about a 7% on paper. But we're just going to say 6% because that 1% is going to be principal reduction. So look at this here. We got $75,000 in cash flow. We got $45,000 in debt payment. We got $30,000 a year in cash flow, right? I mean, this is basically just how real estate works, you know. And if you want to make more money, you know, you're making $30,000 off of that. You're making $30,000. If you want to make more money, what do you have to do? What do you got to do? You got to get more debt. But we can't get more debt. You know why we can't get more debt? Because when we were kids, they told all the poor and middle class that debt's bad. You think the wealthy people telling their kids that debt's bad? Not a chance. Not a chance. Like, why? Because they understand how debt works. So my son making $30,000 a year, right? Plus, let's say he's making that $1 million a year going up 5% a year. We're not talking about over 1 year, 2 years. We're talking historically. We're not talking about, Nate, you're going to get 10%. No, I'm talking historical data. You're going to get over 5%. We're talking since 1963. 1963 data is what I'm looking at. And we're going all the way back here. And we're looking at historical home prices right here. Everybody in here believe that you can get at least 5%, a 5% return? Yes or no? Look, 17,800 is where we started in 1963. Right now, we just got Q2 results of 2024. Home prices are going sideways a little bit. They peaked up here in COVID when you had that 2% money. Now they're back down to about 412. Does everybody in here think you can get 5% a year? This is important. You guys got to understand this is where wealth is built at. You guys think you can get 5% a year? Okay, 5% a year. Everybody believes that, right? Now, we ain't talked about credit yet, Quinn. We will in a minute. Yeah, 2020 definitely skewed those averages, but watch this. If we go in here and we look at historical data and, we go back over to this calculator, we were at 17.8. So if we take 17.8 to the power of, hold on, let me hide this bar here. Mono, hide floating meetings, hide floating meeting controls. All right. So, and press escape to get them back. Okay, I didn't know I could do that. Now I don't know where my escape button is. That's all right. We'll figure it out. So if we go back over here and 17,800, how many years ago was that, everybody? Times a 1.05 to the power of, that was 61 years ago. This is what that property would be worth today at a 5% return. And as we saw, it's 412, 300. So it's greater than, you know what? Actually, that was 63 years ago. Let me go do that math over again. Hold on. 17,800 times a 1.05 to the power of, I was 63 years ago. All right, 384. So we're close, but we're a little over 5%. Does that make sense, everybody? Does that make sense? So where's the real wealth built at? Where's the real wealth built? So many people out here preaching cash flow. Look, man, let me show you something. I don't even know if I could pull this up here. All right. See this amount distribution, 1.5 million a day, right? So let's cash out refi, right? A couple weeks ago, I had a 7.5 million cash out refi. I mean, stuff works. I didn't go to college. I actually went to prison for selling drugs. Because why? I didn't follow the system. Maybe I was a little different. Appreciation. Exactly. And so I want you guys to know how to really get wealthy in 5 years and quit doing this 40-year crap, man. This 40-year crap where you're working for somebody else. Hey, what's that college that, oh, Christos, you were with me last night. Christos, can you come up real quick, man?
What's up, brother?
Hey, man, what's going on, brother?
What's going on?
So Christos is in town, man. He's my LA president, good friend. And last night, where did that guy go to school at, man? One of the best schools in the country.
He went to West Point, brother.
He went to West Point. What did he tell us? What just happened to him?
He was rift.
I don't know what rift means. Do you guys know what rift means?
Reduction in force.
I thought it was like some I thought he was into some freaky stuff. I didn't know what it meant, man.
Yeah.
So like he was like, I got ripped. And I was like, bro, like this dude's 50 something years old. And I'm thinking like, hey man, we just hanging out. I don't know what that means. But it's a corporate term. Reduction in what?
Worse.
So he got fired. Is that what that means?
He was
They,
like,
they can't even tell you, hey man, you fired. They say, man, sorry, we gotta rift you or something. Like, I don't even understand that. But this guy went to what was it called? West Point?
West Point. Yeah, that's the Army and Marines Officer Academy School.
You got to be pretty smart to get in there, right?
I think it's like the Naval Academy where you have to get either your local congressman or somebody to sponsor you.
So
Yeah.
look, that guy was way more connected than me. He probably ain't as good looking. We can all agree on that, right? But he was smarter than me, right? IQ wise, probably smarter than me.
He was pretty smart, but I don't know about smarter than you. But yeah,
I mean, Christos, I'm just street smart and common sense smart. I'm not book smart, right? And so when we look at things like that happen over and over and over and over again, and right now, people think this is a bad economy. This economy is on fire. I went through the last recession. That was hard. They said we had a real 25% unemployment rate last recession.
mm-hmm.
Right now, we're sitting under 5. They lied about the numbers, so I would assume they're lying about these numbers too. In the last recession, if you were unemployed longer than 6 months, they just took you off the roll. So we're talking about 25%. Like this right here is nothing. I went bankrupt in the last recession. So I learned how not to go bankrupt and learn what to do, what not to do. And so let's jump back in over here real quick. Over to yeah, go ahead, Christos.
The sad thing, and hopefully that's not going to happen to anyone else here on the line, but I think it was 30 or 32 years that he had given to this organization, a long time. And he was at a senior level, not
Yeah.
level, dedicated company man.
Yeah. But I see this all the time. And I see people like that and their dreams are shattered and broke. And it was yesterday was Monday. Me and Christos hanging out at the steakhouse, and the guy said, man, it's been a long week. He come back in the cigar room. I said, man, what are you talking about? It's Monday, bro. Like, the man saying he got a long week, something's on his mind. So, all I'm here to do is give all you guys hope, man. That's all I want to do. I just want to give you hope. Not only hope, but I want to give you knowledge. And I want to let you know that dream that you're chasing needs to be the dream that you want to chase, not the dream of somebody else's, right? And so a lot of times what happens is we get over here and we get so, I would say in school, man, they teach us to like our self-esteem. We get boxed in. Think about it. You get a kid over there that wants to do something creative and they said, you can't do that. You got to do it this way. Well, why? It's because they're creating a system of workers. And that's why people wake up at the same time every day, get coffee the same time every day, get off work, go to lunch the same time, do this 5 days a week for 40 years and still don't have enough money to retire. That's the only reason why. And so I want to show you a different way where you can retire in 5 years or less. And if you got $50,000, it's a lot easier to do. If you don't have any money, then get $50,000, right? And I know what you guys are saying. Well, I can't do that. I only make XYZ an hour. Quit thinking about trading your time for money, man. My son's 17. He's making $130,000 on his first deal. Now, I ain't saying you got to do what he's doing, but we did that credit card stacking, 0% credit cards. Like a lot of parents, man, I've seen somebody that was doing really good, went to Northwest. I was always a bad kid, man. I was a relatively bad kid. I got in trouble. I got sent away to a children's home. I went to prison when I was 18, got out, went back, got back out when I was 22, sold drugs, like until I was 29, I cried out to God and started doing real estate. And, met my wife, got sober, went bankrupt, had a couple kids. I mean, life's good, man. Became really wealthy in the process. And I didn't do it by working for somebody else. I didn't do it by going to college. I didn't do it by accepting the fact that I had 4 felons and I came from poor family and that was my destiny. No, I realized that through struggle, you learn. And the things that you learn are invaluable to take you to the next level. So what I see so many people do, this is like the worst thing. They'll start something and it'll get hard. And they'll have an expectation. They'll have an expectation that I'm going to pour this much effort in. Caden, come here a minute, son. Hey, man, I just want you to say hi to everybody, man. Tell them what you tell them about your deal today, man. I know we've been bragging about it, man, but guys, I'm a happy father, man, because coming from where I came from, man, just growing up dirt poor, alcoholic parents, like, man, this is what it's about, man. So tell them about what you learned today on your property.
And the main thing is the closing process. The closing process is just all the contracts and stuff you got to fill out. It's just a lot of stuff doing that, because I was like, man, I don't even know what all this stuff is. But yeah.
So how many days till you get it done, you think, realistically?
Hey, pace we're moving now, probably before schedule.
How many days you got scheduled?
We got.
No, you got, not me, not we. It's you, bro.
Okay, I got 14 days scheduled. It's technically 16, but finishing landscaping, I have that at day 16. I can just move that backwards a few days.
Okay, so you closed at 12 o'clock today. What'd you get done today?
The demo and trash out guys, we got in there. Heck, they're probably still in there right now.
They're not. I seen Phil on the call.
Okay. But they trashed out the whole downstairs. I don't know about I think they did
gutted
basement
the kitchen,
because he was
right?
talking about the basement. Yeah, and I think they gutted at least upstairs, the bathroom.
Hey, and anybody in Cincinnati that wants to come by, later this week, tomorrow, I got to go to one of my hotels up in Columbus, Ohio. But we're gonna be around all week, and next week we're gonna be in the academy. We're doing construction hell week. So anybody in the academy, just go in there. Jairus is going to be doing a construction hell week. We're going to be on jobs every day next week. Anybody in the academy, you guys want to come in town, let us know. We're going to get you guys skilled up.
And then who else that's all we got in there today. But then tomorrow we got them coming back out to finish the demo. We got the roofing guy. He's coming in there at 9.
No, 7. The roofing guy will be there at 7.
Oh, really? I told him to come at 9. You want me to tell him?
No, dude, he don't know.
I thought he was coming at 9, so I just said.
Nah, you let the roofing guy come when he coming, man. He gonna have that roof done by 12. And we got the roof done for $195 a square off and on, because he had 35 square of extra shingles left. So he's like, hey man, $100 a square, I'll give you the shingles. So we got it lined out tomorrow. We already got the kitchen lined out. You learn how to measure windows today. So I won't hold you up, son. I know you had a long day. But look, man, that's the stuff we need to be teaching our kids. We're making $130,000 in 14 days, man. Right? And we listen, look. Let me tell you.
Than that at this pace, probably 10 days.
No, I'm just saying, like, look, man, we sending our kids to school where they only got about a 41% chance. If I say, hey, man, why don't you send your kids over here with me for 4 years? You say, what you gonna do, Nate? Hey, look, man, they got about a 41% chance of making it through the 4 years with me. But if they make it through, they're going to be able to make about $53,000 a year. Man, you're going to laugh at me, man. You're going to laugh at me. That's college right now. Don't believe me? Go look the numbers up. Oh, and by the way, they're going to be $40,000 in debt. Man, that's insane, right? Why are we still thinking this way? This is crazy thinking. Why are people not talking about this more? Now, for the experience of college, networking, yes, I think college is great for that. If you know exactly what you want to go to college for, I still would tell you, go become a millionaire first. It'll take you 5 years. Then if you want to go to college, go do that. But if you don't like it, you can quit. Don't have the pressure on you that you got to do this because this is all you know. Get out here and learn real estate at a young age. It's always been a way to build a lot of wealth for people. So We're going to run back through these numbers real quick. And I'm going to try not to get distracted, all right? Calculator right here. All right, so we're going to start over from the beginning. We bought a property for $600,000. We put $150,000 in renovation in it. This is the BRRRR method. It's worth $1 million. We do this all day, man. We're going to go rent it out. It's worth $1 million. It's going to bring in about a 7.5% return. Oops, 0.075. This is after all the expenses except debt. That's $75,000 a year. That's called net operating income. For those of you that have ran businesses, this is similar to EBITDA. This is NOI. All right. So now we got $1 million asset. Everybody, how much is this asset bringing in a year? Type it in below. That's right, 75 grand. We're going to go back to the bank and say, hey, I need to borrow 75% of the value of my property. That's $750,000. How much money do you got in this deal? How much money you got in the deal after you do this? Not a dollar, right? No money at all. No money at all, okay? So what did you just do? You just built a $250,000 net worth. Now, got to pay the bank, though. This is where everybody gets scared. I got to pay the bank, got to pay the bank. Man, right now, you'll pay the bank about on $750,000. Let's just say 6%. Depending on what debt you're getting, maybe 6.5%, right? Let's just say 6% though. We can say 6.5%. It don't matter, right? Because I don't want nobody to say, "Oh, I can't get it for that, man." Okay, give them 6.5% though. It's $48,750. You got $75,000 coming in. This is what you pay the bank out of. Minus the 40. Just say 49,000. Okay, we'll round it up. Minus 49 grand. So you're making $26,000. But watch this, a year. Watch this. This property, we all agreed will go up 5% a year. What's this property worth next year? What just happened there? Hang on to it another year. It's going up another 5%. It's year 2. Let's go into year 3. Let's go into year 4. 5% return. Now let's go into year 5. This is how you get wealthy, everybody. Guess what else went up? Your rent went up every year. So this property here, let's just say it's worth $1.3 million. What's your debt on it? You borrow $750,000, you probably only owe about $670, right? So it's worth $1.3 million. Let's say it's going to bring in 7.5%. Now your cash flow went up from $75,000 to $95,000. This is the way real estate works, everybody. Why? Because the way that our economy functions is based off of new debt and inflation. The U.S. economy goes under. Every economy in the world, we all got fiat currency. It goes under without new debt. So you are basically, at this point, you're working with the government here. And so when you begin to understand what's going on behind the scenes, it's how you get wealthy. It's understanding what's going on. So that's our new cash flow, right? With our new cash flow and our new value, now we can go borrow. Let's say the property went up to $1.3 million in value. It's got $95,000 in cash flow. Gonna go back to the bank again, year 5, say, hey, man, I need to refinance. 975 is my new loan. My old loan was 750. I only owe about minus 690. What just happened there? Just did a cash out refi for 285. It's just one deal. You just do deal after deal after deal after deal. But I know what you're saying. Nate, if I had a property that was worth $1.3 million and I borrowed 75% of it, I got new bank debt of, let's just say, 6.5% again. Got 63,000, but you got 95,000 coming in. You see, when you learn how to strategically buy in the right areas, you will learn how to become wealthy. And that is what we show people how to do step by step by step by step. This is a 5-year process. And debt equals wealth. So when you come in and you understand that if you got $1 million worth of property, it's making you, let's say, a 2.5-point spread on the bank's money, but you only borrow 750,000. So you borrow 750,000. Let's say you had a 2-point spread on the bank's money. Does everybody understand when I'm talking about a spread on the bank's money? Do you guys understand what I'm talking about here? Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? Okay. All right. So let's say I'm buying an asset that brings in an 8% return. 8% of 100,000 is 8,000. 8% of $1 million is 80,000. 8% of 10 million is 800,000, right? Same thing. Now, let's say that property's bringing me 8% return after all my bills are paid except the mortgage. And I'm borrowing the money from the bank at 6%. I'm making a 2-point spread on the bank's money. That's all you're doing. You're just making a spread on the bank's money, and you're strategically buying in areas that have a high probability to go up in value. And, you know, if you look at properties, they tend to always go up in value. You know, so I want to hear some of the fears that you guys got below, because these are the things that we really got to overcome are your fears. Because look, I just look at data, man. This is data. This is data year by year by year by year. Let's go back to 1961, 17.8. Let's go to 1970, 23 grand. 1980. Oh, we came off the gold standard here. We started to see some inflation. 1980, 64,000. 1990, 121. 2000, 171. 2010, 222. 2020, even with COVID, 317. Where do you think these numbers are going to be at by 2030, 2040, 2050? Right? Why is this happening? Right here. I'll show you why. Because the devaluation of the dollar is what's going on here. You see M2 money supply? We're about to hit $21 trillion in M2 money supply. We go back to 2000, there was only about 5 trillion in M2 money supply, right? So when you guys understand the way that the system works, then you can play the game. It's hard to really play the game when you don't understand the way the system works. So let's go back over here. Is this making sense to everybody? Can you guys nod your head yes if it's making sense? If not, let me know why. Ray, I know you got it. Quinn, you getting this, man? Quinn, are you getting this? Just shake your head yes or no. Drop below. I want you guys to understand this, man. Deshaun, I know you get it. So if I don't have enough money, it's likely because I don't have enough debt. The problem is you got to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. So if I have $1 million in debt, most people think, oh man, I don't want to have $1 million in debt. Well, I think I don't want to work till I'm 65 and be broke, right? So if I had $1 million in debt and the property is going up, and let's say I only owe 75% on the property, that's 750,000 I owe the bank. I'm making a 2-point spread on the bank's money. Does this make sense to you guys? I'm borrowing 750,000 from them, but I'm making a 2-point spread on their money. But that $250,000 that I created in equity, now that should be paying me, let's say it's a 7.5% return. Okay. 18.75 plus the 15 grand from the bank. The bank's spread on their money. Right? It's simple. Right there, you create equity, equity pays dividends. Now, you got $1 million in property. So that's going up 5% a year. That's $50,000 in, it should be 50,000 in bonus money, right? $50,000 in bonus money plus your 30,000. This is on $1 million in debt. If you get 10 million in debt, you're making 800 grand a year. You get 100 million in debt, you're making $8 million a year. And I know these numbers seem big, but trust me, I started off buying just like many of you, $5,000, $10,000 houses. And now I've scaled up to have several $100 million in real estate. And so I understand intimately how this stuff works. And I also understand that the real thing is understanding how it works. Once you understand how it works, then it's about, okay, what systems do I need to really perfect this? So I want to go to some questions now. I know this is a lot to take in, right? It's a lot to take in. I'm trying to do my best to explain it to you guys, though, because I want you to understand that staying out of debt is not something that wealthy people do. They don't pay off debt. There's tax advantages to having debt. Good debt. Good debt. Good debt is a debt that is going to go up in value. I mean, good debt is something that is going to go up in value over time that somebody else is going to pay for. Whether it's a business, whether it's, real estate, right? Same thing. Other people are paying for that. So let me see what kind of questions you guys got down here.
Nate, we have one from Douglas J. Beck that asked, what's your opinion on short-term and mid-term rentals? Do you stick with just long-term?
Look, I don't get into speculation a lot. I don't get into places where the government can control my outcome a lot. Like STRs, look, they take, number one, they take too much energy. I'm not after the cash flow. People that are doing STRs, they have a job, right? I'm looking to own assets. If I own $1 million in assets and they're going up 5% a year, I'm making $50,000 in my sleep. If I own an STR that I'm, renting from somebody and renting it out, I'm doing all this work I got a job. It's just a job, man. So I am into owning assets, right? I want to own assets that go up in value. I want to buy in the right areas, so I'm not I own hotels. That's like owning a whole bunch of STRs. But guess why? Because I got people that run hotels, right? Typically, let's say you got a 145 room hotel, which is one I'm going to tomorrow. It brings in about $5 million in revenue a year. It'll bring 32%. That's a Courtyard Marriott. That'll bring about 32% to the bottom line. And after debt and everything, it makes me about $400,000 or $500,000 a year. So, I mean, I'm into things that I can scale. It doesn't take my time. Matter of fact, I haven't been to this hotel since March, April, May, June, July, August. I haven't been there in 5 months, right? I look at my reports every morning, I glance at them. It takes me about 20 seconds to look at my reports and know what's going on. Literally 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds. I'm looking at business revenue for the day, for the month. Transient for the day, for the month. How many rooms we sold, how many are out of order, and other. Other's going to be like beer, food. That's all I care about, right? Because I know what kind of numbers we should be hitting. Then I'll dig in a little bit deeper and look at the weekly reports, and I'll look and see where I'm at in my comp set. Am I running in par where I should be for that brand? For Courtyard Marriott, before COVID, you should be at about 105 to 112% of the comp set, meaning you should be able to pull business, take business away from them. Now, Courtyard Marriott's a little harder because you got a lot of business travelers, and all of them haven't come back yet. So, you're happy with 98, 99%. It's all market dependent. So for me, I do not want to do things that take a lot of my time. I want to do things that are really scalable and do more of them. Sorry for the long explanation.
We have another question from Jeremiah Denny. He said, I have a house, bought it for 100K and it's worth over 300K now. What can I do?
I mean, are you renting it out? First off, it sounds like it's in an appreciating area, right? But what's likely to happen in that area in the future, right? What kind of political climate do you have? In other words, if the politics are bad, you got to play it a little bit different. And when I say political climate, like, do you have rent controls? Oh, ex-wife is living in there? Man, listen, I'm an expert in real estate, like, not relationships. Man, I don't even know how to deal with that, man. Like, that's a rabbit hole, and you set me up, man. Like, what should you do? Cash for keys, man. I don't know. Like, cash for keys, man. But if she got your kids, I mean, it sounds like maybe your kids are in there. And it's a nice house. I mean, I don't know, man. If it was me and my kids lived there, I'd probably let the wife stay there, but I would leverage some of it. Gary, you ain't right. Gary said, nah, man, can't do no fire, man. That's a felony. Okay. And it doesn't have a statute of limitations on arson, I don't think. So yeah, we don't want to go that route. You just gotta, if you owe 100,000 on it, do you want to leverage it? But now you're coming up against your debt to income ratio. And then can you lease it to the wife, get a lease? Because if you go to a DSCR lender, they're going to say, how are you going to pay me? You're going to say, oh, my ex-wife's in there. They're going to be like, nah. They're going to be like, nah, bro, we ain't touching that. Right? So you got to think about what the lender is going to do for you.
There's another question from Omer Murad, and he said, where can we find funders?
What are funders? You mean lenders?
Yeah, he must be referring to lenders.
There's lenders all over the place, man. Like, we got lenders in our private group. We got actually a private equity group that a family office that lends to our students in some states. But just Google DSCR lenders. If you're in the academy, reach out to me and I'll hook you up with somebody in there that does loans. But if not, just Google DSCR lenders and look at their reviews.
We have a question from Seth Silver, and he asked, any strategies to get started with no money to little money, no income verification loan?
So, like, what are you looking to do a loan for? It doesn't sound like you have a lot of experience in this. You're not ready to do a loan yet. You really need to understand the whole process and the risk. There's a lot of money you can make in real estate, but if you do it wrong, you can lose everything and it can be very stressful. So what I would do is I would start where I don't really have any risk. I would start wholesaling. Wholesaling is basically going out, finding these rundown properties, understanding how to price them in for investors like me or other people on this call, and put and the better the deal is you find, the more money you can put on top of them. So typical a typical assignment fee, anywhere from 5 to 20,000. Although I've seen them bigger. I've done one at one time that was over $1 million. So the bigger the deal is, the more money you can make. The better you buy it, the more you can make. So you could sell a property for 100,000 and you could make 90,000 on it as an assignment fee if you got it under contract for 10 grand. But if you got it under contract for 95 and you sell it for 100, you're making 5. So if you're 16, man, get out here. And if you're 16, number one, man, congratulations for even having a hustle or desire to not be on TikTok and be in here learning something different. I would learn how to wholesale. I would go out here and I would probably put some bandit signs out. I would go into the neighborhood that is, somebody give me a zip code, man. I'll show you. Somebody give me, just tell me a city, man. Put some cities below and I'll show you how to go find what city you want to be in. Just say the cities, guys, because I don't, some of these cities, I mean, okay, so, all right, so we're going to go to Cincinnati here, okay? So let's go over here. Someone said Cincinnati. So I'm going to go into Cincinnati here. First off here, here's what I want to find. I want to find Cincinnati, Ohio. And here's, oh, crap. Okay, there we go. Here's how you kind of want to find areas. Let me see if I can shrink this down here. Okay, hold on. I think it booted me off there. All right, let me stop share, start again. Here's how you find what areas you want to go to as a wholesaler, though, and even buy in, right? So if you go into areas like you go into home type, we're really looking for houses. Sold, we want to go sold. Really what you're looking for is somewhere in the city that you got some year built where they're building new stuff. Let's say 2018. Watch all this stuff shrink down here. The amount of inventory is going to shrink. Boom. Okay, so now you're close to the downtown area, not quite in downtown, but you want to go out here, like kind of off 71 over here. You want to go in a neighborhood like this one here. This is Evanston right here. And here's why. You're going to start to see, you see these values here, 350, 363, 363, 575. Now, if we go remove the year built, what you're going to see is if there's cheap houses over here now, mixed in, okay, 23 grand. Is that a house? There you go. See, you got these cheap houses mixed in with these, that's a lot. You got cheap houses mixed in with brand new houses they're building. Then what does that tell you? People are willing to come over there. Look at this part over here, Ledger, St. Ledger. Okay, so this one here sold for 175. One next door sold for 363. What happened? This is a BRRRR neighborhood. Okay, 200 over here, 105 over here. So these are the type of neighborhoods you want to look for. What you want to do is you want to go down here and you want to go on these busy streets here where people are stopping, like this intersection here probably. You want to put some signs out. Say, I buy houses cash. It's pretty simple. I buy houses cash. Then you want to go out to the suburbs and you want to say investor special. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, Evanston, right? Whatever, 149 grand. You don't have to have a house, right? But you're building a buyer list. So when you do get a house, you already got 20, 30 buyers lined up. So if you're 16 years old and you got time to go do that, then all you're doing is you're pairing the two together. Now, it's a little bit more complicated. You got to know how to get it under contract. But really all you're doing is you're finding people that don't want properties. And there's other ways. We got a deal machine challenge that we do that we show people. Actually, if you jump on Thursday at 12 o'clock, my partner, Jarius, who's one of the first people that I ever mentored, he'll be on there showing you guys how to, I think last week he found a deal for somebody for them to go look at, and he set up an appointment. Was anybody on that call in here? You were? Justin, how was that, man? Can you take Justin off mute?
Yeah, he set up on his first call. He got one linked up for this chick.
So, and then tell him about how he found it.
He did just like you're doing right now, but he did it inside the deal machine. He put the area code in and called him up and locked one in on the first one. And then he actually, the guy he talked to, he has other properties that they're willing to work with too. So it might turn into multiple deals for the girl.
Yeah, so we were on a coaching call earlier with Matt, one of our students, Matt got 53 units he's taking down right now. 53 off of a call. And he'll be in it for about 4 million. It'll be worth about 7.5 million. So, and he was at work at his job today, and he was like, so you can literally become a millionaire. You just, and it doesn't take a long time, but I'm more methodical. Do 2 your first year, 4 your next year, 6 the year after that, 8 year. That's what I got my son doing, right? Now I could take my son and I could jump him up to the big leagues and have him go buy apartment complexes. No, Tate, that's 53 houses. He found an investor with 53 houses. And so there's all kinds of ways to make money in real estate. There always will be, but you got to have the skills to take it down. Thank you. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you, brother.
No problem, man. Thank you.
I love your sign, man.
just got that set up.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
There's another question from Ricardo Campos, and he asked, how can I fix my credit without going bankrupt?
Well, I don't know what's wrong with your credit, you know. And I don't know if bankruptcy is a good option for. I don't know a lot about. I can just tell you some credit hacks that I had to use when I came out of bankruptcy. I went to one of my buddies and borrowed some money, and I said I just need it for the day. And he looked at me funny when he said that, like, Nate, man, you ain't trying to flip no pack. I was like, nah, man, I ain't. And so I'd explain to him, I'm going into the credit union. And the credit unions, a lot of time, what they'll do is they'll give you an unsecured line of credit. It shows up on your credit as an unsecured line of credit, but actually it's a secured line of credit because you go in $10,000, you buy a CD, and then they'll loan the money back to you. Typically, they're getting an arbitrage on the money, so it may be 150 bips higher than what the CD's paying. So if CD's paying 3%, they're going to loan you the money at 4.5. So on 10 grand, you might be losing a little money, but we're talking about 1.5 bips over $10,000 is $150 a year you're losing. Not much, but you're getting this reported to your credit. You don't want to do one that's only going to last for a year, because then if you pay it off after a year, then it'll crash your credit. But if you do one for really, you'll walk in there, you'll give them a $10,000 check, they'll give you the $10,000 back. So what you did was you just created a loan that's going to be securitized by that CD. They know they can't lose, right? And so that's one way. You can get a secured credit card. It'll show up. You can challenge stuff, but there's a lot of different stuff. But I would have to know more about your situation to even tell you kind of what I did.
We have another question from Caleb Montes. He said, can I do the 5-year plan with buying up multifamily properties and renting them out?
You can, but you need a lot of experience to do multifamily. Multifamily, man, that's a lot of I got a bunch of my students who already became millionaires who I'm gonna be doing a mastermind for later this year, but that's a lot. And literally off them, you can make $1 million off one deal, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, even more. But you have to have experience. That ain't something you just want to jump into. Now, I do know my partner Mike, he does that. And he has one of his students, Tim Vest, that went from 0 units to over 1,000 units, I think, in his first 30 months. But Tim was a asset manager for Wells Fargo, I believe. So he already had a lot of financial experience and understood a lot of the stuff that you have to understand. What he probably didn't understand was the operations, but he was an operation guy. So he figured out the operation side. He knew the loan side. He knew what a deal looked like. Probably the construction side was where he had to pair up with some people, and that's what he was able to do through with Mike and the network. And I think they just they're buying a 54 unit with him and some of I seen Tico's in on that 54 unit. They're buying one down there in South Carolina right now.
There's another question from iPhone 5. This one says, how do we find these BRRRR areas? My fear is buying in the wrong market. I have tried searching new/larger businesses coming into certain towns because this would bring in jobs.
Oh, who is that from?
iPhone 5. There's no name.
Okay, so are you in the academy? Because you're talking like you know what you're talking about. If you're in the academy, then you just need to get on the coaching calls. We have like 5 or 6 of them a week. We'll show you exactly where. You give us the zip code and we'll go in there and show you exactly where to buy. Okay, you're not. Okay. So just what I just showed you. I just showed you where the juice was at. I just showed you people buying in that neighborhood for 500,000 and this house is selling for 100. That's where the juice is at right there. That tells you what area is being gentrified right there, man. That's easy.
We have another question from Gary Barber. He said, how do you choose end area? How do you choose the area and what type of market analysis software do you use specifically?
So here I'll show you guys. What I look, man, I'm data driven. I make decisions based off of data and then my gut. Now, my gut, sometimes I don't care how good the deal is. If my gut says it's a no-go, I don't care. I'm going with my gut because I got to sleep at night, right? And so, but I'll show you guys real quick kind of what you should be looking at. And this spreadsheet here is something that we kind of circulate. I'll have to log in here. So this here, I'll have to go log into CoStar. This is the data that we use to teach people on here, and I'll kind of show you. Let me try to do this. It's probably going to kick me out and say I got to log in. Okay, so okay, got it. Let me log back in real quick. Now this is expensive. This is like, I think we pay $1,600 a month for this. That's why they're so. 232-484, so protective of their data because, man, it's some really good data. Okay, so Los Angeles office leasing stays flat. Education tech, federal government doles out 524 million contract to develop new agency. So I come over here to the market report here. Value still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Hold on.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, so I come over here to the list, and then, if I'm looking for annual rent growth here. So look, 21% annual rent growth, 7% vacancy. That's a high vacancy to have a high annual rent growth. Something's going on there. So this should have shrunk. So if this shrunk year over year, like if this was a 10% and it came down to a 7, 12-month, 17 units got absorbed. I mean, that's not. So let me see what's going on here. Population growth is 0.5%. Median household growth is 2.7. Job growth is 1.2. Unemployment rate's 3.5. Something's going on in that city. So I would go in here and I would just dig a little bit deeper into the market analysis on this. This one here, 12.4%, Hinesville, Georgia. What's driving that market? 5% vacancy. What I'm looking for is like Norwich, Connecticut's got a 3.1. They had 222 units got delivered, 211 of them got absorbed. That's a strong market. And they got 666 units under construction, and they have a 4.3% median household growth. Population growth is down 0.6, but then people may be moving to the suburbs. Job growth is 1.3. That's a strong market. Let's look and see what's going on there. This is probably some type of tech play, or there's some type of manufacturing. There's something that's driving that market there. So this is the type of data that you should be looking at when you're buying. You shouldn't be guessing. You should be very strategic about putting your money in the best place, the most probable place. And every city has places that you can invest. Don't feel like, oh, I'm here and they don't have that. Nah, man, there's places in almost every city. There are some cities that I'll just say, heck no. So I'm looking to see third quarter vacancy sits at 3.6 net annual. So I'm looking to see if it shrunk. Absorption rate of 210 units, helping to keep vacancy flat. However, unlike many northeastern secondary markets, which are in the process of digesting recently delivered small waves of new supply, Norwich is set to receive 670 units over the next 3 years or so, representing 5.8% of existing inventory. These elevated construction levels are forecast to push market vacancy up, meaning that you're going to go from a 3.6 to a 5 vacancy. But it's all by stuff that's being built new. Market asking rents are slightly higher than a national, but these new units are going to be higher. So look, the 4 and 5 star segment where Norwich average monthly rent is 2170 units are just a few dollars more than a national average. The largest difference is workforce housing. Norwich average monthly rent for workforce is 1500 compared to 1310. The difference in 3-star segment 1730. So basically, as these new units come in, you're going to see them come online here. You're going to see them get absorbed in the orange, new inventory, absorb, new inventory, absorb all the way out to 28, starts to flatline, which then you'll see the property stabilize out over here. Your vacancy rate's going to climb when this new inventory comes in right here, but it's going to get eaten up. So that's a good market to buy in. Now we want to look at vacancy rate. Okay, the asking rents continue to climb, not a lot of turbulence there. And then what's going to happen in the 28? We're going to continue to see forecasted rent growth. I mean, this looks like a relatively good market to buy in. Then we look at our operating cost here, but we're not going to go that deep. So, that's what we look at when we're buying properties. And then what I would look at is say, okay, these new properties that are coming online here. So let's see what's coming online. 2020, 102 units, 8.8% vacancy. But this one built in 2000 only has a 1.9. What does that mean right there? These are probably renting for 1,500. They want 2,500 for these, right? So people are going to come down and rent this older stuff in a recession. This older stuff is recession proof. This newer stuff maybe have some type of government subsidy, or maybe the guy who's building it is just building it saying, hey, man, I just need tax write-offs, because you get a lot of tax write-offs by borrowing money and building real estate. So you got to understand why they're doing that.
We have another question from Tommy. He says, I'm brand new to real estate. I have very low cash reserves, under 6K, but got a HELOC on my primary residence for 100K. Should I wait until I can save up some cash reserves before I buy a flip and fix, or should I bring in partners with capital? Question mark.
I mean, you got $100,000, and you got 6,000 in cash reserves, but what you need to go through, you need to see, is Bobby, what's going on, brother? Bobby, he's in the academy. He's in here watching, man. Hey, what you need help with, Bobby? You wanna come up, man? Bobby's kind of famous. I won't, if he doesn't want to come up, I won't ask him, but I'd love to talk to him, man. So, what you got to look at is what kind of repairs are your property going to need over the next 5 years? What is it likely to be worth? Like right now, let's just say it's worth $200,000 and it's going to go to $250,000 over the next 5 years. Well, you'll be able to cash out refi in 5 years and your rents will continue to go up, right? So, it's all understanding. And here we put a spreadsheet together that shows people how to really forecast these type of problems over here. So if you come over here and you look at your maker schedule, here may be your year 1 expenses, but what are your year 2 expenses? And here's the items. Like, how old is your HVAC system? Year 5, you think you're going to have to put a new AC unit in. You're going to have appliances that break every 5 or 7 years. You're going to have flooring. All these capital items is where, you got to figure out over 10 years, you're going to need 40,770 in capital items just to keep this property running. So to do that, we need appreciation. So this property is going to go from 201 to 312, and we got to put 40,000 that back in. We good. We making money, right? Because I'm going to go do a cash out refi year 5 at 75%, and I'm going to pull out 60,000 cash. I'm going to put 25,000 aside. I'm going to get 36,000 cash back. I'm going to put this 25,000 in reserves, let's just say, because I already know where I'm going to need this money at. So it comes down to understanding how to run this like a business. You don't really need partners if you got $100,000 HELOC. You need to understand how to take that and turn that into a several $1 million net worth over the next 5 years. And that's what I can help you out. anybody that's interested in having somebody to hold their hand through this process, I have a mentorship I can help you with. For those of you that are like, you know, really want to get into this, I know we've had a bunch of people that are even on here that I've mentored. So if you're interested in that, just say information below, and we'll reach out to you guys and see if what we do is a good fit for you guys.
We have a question from iPhone 5. The question is, can we talk about depreciation and how it works? I have a hard time understanding that and the write-off.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. I'll break it down real simple. I won't use this complicated spreadsheet, okay? So remember that $1 million property that we had earlier? Everybody remember that $1 million property? Huh? Does everybody remember that $1 million property? In the chat? So let me see here. I want to make sure you guys remember that. Okay. Okay, then how much cash flow did that property have coming in? How much cash flow did it have coming in after we BRRRR'd it? Is anybody okay? 75,000, but I got to write the bank off. How much did I pay the bank? Remember, the bank payment was 49,000. So I was making $26,000 in cash flow. There you go. 26K in cash flow. Now watch this here. This is going to blow your mind here. So I got $1 million in property. Let's say that 10% of its land value, 100,000 was land value. 90% of it is, let's say, the building. By owning this building, I get to take depreciation. Let's say it's a residential building. Over 27 and a half years, the IRS says this is going to go to zero. How much cash flow was I making again? 26,000. Watch my yearly depreciation. 32 grand. So if I'm making 26,000, I'm still showing a $6,700 loss every year on my taxes, right? The problem is that by year 5, my cash flow went up to $95,000, okay? 95,000, and my bank, I was still paying them 49 grand. Okay, so here's the problem. Now I'm paying taxes because I still only got $32,000 straight line depreciation. I'm paying taxes on 14 grand. The easiest way to get rid of that liability is to do what? Go borrow more money. Remember, we borrowed 285,000 out? That's my money, but that's the property's debt. That new debt that's associated with the property, that's a tax write-off. I get to write that off. Every time I go borrow more money, that's a tax write-off for the property. The money I get back, I can do whatever I want with it, right? And I don't have to pay taxes on that money because it's a loan. That's the greatest thing about the BRRRR method. When you understand this stuff, man, it's crazy to me that people go get jobs and work jobs, and when they bring home income, like I feel bad for the people that work for me and they like go out to eat. They can't write off their food, right? They drive to work. They can't even write off their gas. They can't write off their car. Like I go buy a car, it's over 6,000 pounds. Is why I ordered a brand new Bentley. I needed a tax write-off, right? It was over 6,000 pounds. I get to write the whole car off year 1. Now that was a couple years ago, and the maker's schedule changes every year. Right now, this year, it's sitting at 60%. It's called bonus depreciation. So there's all kinds of other stuff that you can do, man. But it's really complicated and complex. And Quinn, I can't explain bonus depreciation. We don't have enough time. This is the stuff that we go over in the academy. We have experts come in and speak on it. It's really like right now, I've given you guys so much information, right? I don't want to blow your mind up. Like this stuff right here, we go over. This is 13 weeks we go over, and then you're ready to go buy. Like really ready to go buy. We got accountability coaches. We got like 5, 6, 7 weekly coaching calls. We teach on construction. We bring in CPAs. I mean, we bring in all kinds of people to help you guys get educated. We got spreadsheets. We got a form where you can ask questions 24 hours a day. I mean, we cover all this. And I would tell you guys, man, if you want to go out here, and there's three things you can do. You can either go out here and you can take action, right? And taking action without knowing where you're going is going to be frustrating. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to be making mistakes. These mistakes are going to cost you a lot of money, right? You can do nothing. Or you can get on the phone with us, talk with us about our mentorship, because I'm telling you, man, we're going to save you so much time and money. So anybody who wants more information, I want to say information below, and I'll have somebody reach out to you. And, you know, look, it doesn't cost you anything to get on a call. First thing, we're going to talk to you about your goals and see if there's something that we can really help you with, right? And if it's not, we'll let you know, like, nah, man, that's not what we do. Like the person said apartments earlier, that's not what we do. That's not what we do. You know, my goal is to get you to become a multimillionaire. Then you can invest in apartments. But jumping straight to apartments, there's a lot of risk associated with that. And I know it because I've done it, right? I mean, I just bought the biggest apartment complex I ever bought with my partners over at Venture, 568 unit, about 80 something $1 million complex, right? And I don't go around a lot of times and tell my students like what I'm doing, because I don't want them to be distracted and feel like, oh man, Nate's buying all these big deals. And nah, man, it's not that. I grinded just like you guys, and I know what the grind is. It's the reason I got my son starting off with a single family home, because it's the right way to do it, because you got huge margins on it, right? And the mistakes that you make along the way are mistakes that you can afford to make. When you bite off too much on a big deal, it can sink you, man. So let's get through a couple more questions here.
Yep.
Hey, Bob, hold on, Bobby, are you in here? I don't know if Bobby's in here, but he's one of I don't know if he's in here. But Bobby texted me. He said it was on a live. You guys know Bobby Lashley, the WW, the wrestler? Yeah, he's in our academy. And he texted me and said, I'm watching your class. I don't know, you still in here, Bobby? Come and say hi to everybody, man. I gotta get out to the event and see you, brother.
We have another question, Nate, from Ethan Leon. He said, what do you recommend for a 14-year-old that wants to get into this once old enough?
You don't have to wait till you're old enough, man. Find somebody to partner with. Find somebody who's 18. My son's 17. He just got his first deal. You know, find a way to make it happen. If you're that hungry and you go out here and you find these deals, you start assigning them and wholesaling them. Look, man, you allowed to make money when you're 14. You're allowed to file taxes when you're 14. So get out here and learn how to wholesale. Get around somebody who you can. Look, I don't want to give you legal advice because I don't know what state you're in. I don't know what your parents think about that. But I'm proud of you. I'm really, really proud of you. Like really. Like when I was 14, I was in the streets and I was trying to make a way. I was trying to survive, but I didn't know the legal way, right? And so what city are you in, young man or young woman? I don't know if it's, you know, man or a woman, but boy or a girl.
He said he's in San Antonio, Texas.
So, Christos, who's our president down in San Antonio? We got a group down in San Antonio and Austin area. I would say Lyle Wells is down there. He's one of the first people that I ever interviewed on here. Crazy thing is, he was working a W-2 job. Lyle he had his primary house and he had a rental property. This was about 3 years ago. He's one of the first people to get my mentorship today. Lyle's a multimillionaire, man. And he quit his job and he's in real estate full time. I'm sure Lyle would love to help you out and show you the ropes down there. So reach out to me. I'll put you in touch with Lyle. And if you really want to learn, Lyle will put you to work finding some deals. And maybe you just say, hey, listen, Lyle, I ain't trying to make no money. You know, maybe give me a few bucks, but I want some equity in these properties.
We have a question from Kiona Renee. She said, when wholesaling, looking at sold properties, are we reaching out to who listed the property to find a buyer? Question mark.
Nah, I ain't too big on like reaching out to realtors unless it's like a distressed realtor. If it's a realtor that You know, most of the time realtors are dealing with they're dealing with retail properties. We're not looking for retail. We're looking for the ones people drive by like, oh, look at that house. It's ugly. I'm like, skirt, slamming on my brakes. That's the one I want. I'm gonna write that address down, man. Man, I was over it the other day, took a picture of that address, sent it to my son, man. Look this property up, see who owns it, see what their mortgage is, right? We can go in here and we can see all that. If you guys go in here to, let me just show you guys real quick, man. I ain't even supposed to be doing this, but I'm gonna do it. We go to NateBRRRR.com. And man, I hope they change this picture. Man, that's some ugly guy on here. Oh, he's still on there. All right, so I'm gonna scroll down here to, I'm gonna go over here to let me see, partners here. I just want to go partners. I'm gonna go right here. Go sign up, get a free 1-week trial, deal machine. Okay. Boom. Unlock this offer here. So I'm gonna go over here. Look at that, man. They could have stopped. They didn't have to stop me in the middle of pictures right there. So that's my Air Force One van right there. So, you know, you go over here and sign up. Let me go over here to Deal Machine real quick and show you what it looks like. Deal Machine here. Log in. Let's see here. It should know my login. All right. So I don't even know where I'm at here, but I do know this. No matter where I'm at, I can go in here and go to my quick filters and I'm going to hit, I want to know who is behind on their taxes, tax delinquent. Okay. Boom. Right here. They delinquent. This is a nice neighborhood too. They tax delinquent. Okay. Recently sold. So they probably aren't. Right. But if I go, let's go back over there to, let's just pull into Evanston, Ohio, where we were at earlier. Evanston, Ohio. And I'll show you the back end of this and how easy it is to kind of what's the zip over there in Evanston? Evanston, okay, 45207. Let me just go pull 45207 up. Okay. Take me over there. Okay. So look at all these tax delinquent. They in the white right here. Okay. So boom, if I go over here, they own this free and clear. Let's see what they paid for. 100% equity. They paid tax delinquent for 2023. They delinquent by $3,200. They paid 27,500. This is the guy's name right here, right? If I wanted to, I could start mail. I could find his phone number. He's off market, free and clear, high equity, tired landlord, tax delinquent, absentee owner. Like, where's he out of? He lives in Crest Road in Cincinnati. You know, I mean, it's easy to find deals once you know how to search through. Here goes another one here. Brewster Avenue. Crazy, man. I own one on Brewster Avenue, actually. 100% equity right here. You know, they own a bunch of them. Look, I'm going here and look at they own 6 properties, right? So I could reach out to Javon Kelly. I could find the phone number. There's a way to skip trace in here too. A lot of times it'll have our phone numbers in here. This one right here, Clarion, another one. Tax delinquent. They own it free and clear. Now I'm telling you, this picture right here is not in Evanston, man. I know Evanston. That's not it. So right here, if I want to call them, I just go click on this here and boom, call, right? 202 number. So, I mean, this is how you find, I'm not looking for retail deals. I'm looking for deals like this right here. Off market, recently sold. So I'll scroll down here and find the ones that sold, you know, not the ones that just sold, but this one here. Let's see. Tax delinquent, off market, estimated equity. So these numbers are all screwed up. But look, another person that owns 5 total properties, portfolio value 287. But that's not true. That's just like, here's all the properties they own. This is a good lead right here. This is a real good lead right here. So Roos Builders LLC, Lookout Circle. I I mean, this is a piece of land they own right here, Fairfield Avenue. Does this make sense, everybody? This is how you find properties here. The properties that other people are. Let's do one more here. So go over here, click on this person here. Okay, they only own this one. Get their email right here. I could email them. You know, a lot of these have phone numbers on them too. Tax delinquent. They own it free and clear. Free and clear means that if I offer them $40,000, they can take it. They don't owe a bank. And I might be able to sell this for 100,000, 150,000. That's just wholesaling, right? So having the right software, you guys want to go over there to natebarger.com. Get your free trial on there. Does that make sense, everybody? Like, you guys out here working 8-10 hours a day, man, you go do this stuff for 100 to 100 hours, man, you will get you some deals and you will make some money. And you start to do this over and over. It's easy to make 6 figures a year doing this. But I don't want that to be the goal. I want the goal to be having, you know, $1 million or a couple $1 million in real estate. Because once you get that $1 million or $4 or $5 million in real estate, like we show you how to do through the first 5 years, then that is when you really start making wealth. Do you guys want to see what that looks like? If you follow the plan, step by step, what we have. And a lot of people, once they get into our mentorship, they'll be like, man, this ain't going to take me no 5 years to do. I'll be able to achieve this quicker than 5 years. So here's kind of what it looks like here. So you bought 30 of these properties. Let's just say you were all in at $4.5 million. Right? They were worth $6 million. Remember, that's at 75%. Well, here's after you accumulate these properties here. So with 60 months, this is 5 years. So you got 60 months left after you buy your first property. Then you buy your second one at 54 months. Then 46, 43. You're stacking these properties. So you're buying 2 properties your first year. 4 properties your second. Then 6 your third. Then 8, and then 10. And you do this here using these same numbers. Your mortgage balance is 140 year 5. The total profit is going to be 142 on that one property, right? And so you'll start to see that as over time, your mortgage balance will be higher and you'll make less because you've held these longer. But once you get to these 30 properties, year 5, you know, you only owe this $4.5 million that you borrowed. Your payoff is only $4.4 million. Now they're worth 6.57. Okay. So you're going to go do a 75% loan on this, which is going to be 4.93. You're going to have 528,000 cash out. That's money that is tax-free, literally. Until you sell the property, you don't pay taxes, right? Now, you hang on to these properties another 5 years, they go up to 8.39 million. If you're buying in the right area, you're getting 5%. You go do a 75% loan, as I demonstrated earlier. That's 6.29. Your 4.9 is down to 4.47. You walk away with 1.8 million in cash. You don't have to do anything more ever. And you're going to have about 15,000 in cash flow a month and about another 4 to 5,000 principal reduction. So we take 1.8 million here and we say, okay, I made 1.8 million, but now watch this. Here's what I need you to understand. You took $1.8 million cash out, but look, you only borrow 6.3. Your home value's 8.4. You still got 2.1 million in equity, 1.8 million in cash. Now, let's just run these numbers, okay? I'm going to borrow 6.3 million from the bank and showing you what I showed you earlier. You're going to make a 2-point spread on the bank's money. Look at this here. That's your cash flow, but then that's 126. But on top of that, you have 2.1 million still in equity. This equity is paying you, let's say, 7.5%. That's 157 plus, what was it, 190, right? Look at this here. 347,500 divide that by 12 months, right? Now, probably about 20,000 that's cash flow, 8 or 9,000 that's principal reduction a month. But now you have 8.3 million worth of real estate going up 5% a year. Okay? This is how you get wealthy. So you got 415, divide that by 12 months. That's 34,000 plus your 29,000, right? Who could live pretty comfortably off $63,000 in cash flow, principal reduction, and appreciation a month, right? And so instead of doing that, though, we'll come up with excuses and say, oh, it's too hard. I don't understand. And you'll go work for somebody for 40 years to get what? Like I watched my father work 43 years on a railroad to get a $5,000 a month pension. And that's a good pension. Man, I go do one deal in 60 days and create that passive income for the rest of my life more than that. Why? Was I smarter than him? Did I work harder than him? No. It's because I took a chance on myself and I understood this stuff and I failed. The stuff that I'm teaching you guys right now, there's pain behind this. There's crying. I've cried plenty of times. Like there's failure behind this. You guys see the success, man. You don't see the countless times I wanted to give up. People say, did you ever feel like giving up? Every day? Because it felt impossible. Because I didn't know, I didn't have a roadmap. Like what I just showed you guys, I had no idea. I had no idea that's how it worked. I had to figure this stuff out. And so I was just doing things. Just imagine doing things and not having any idea where you're going. That's what I was doing. And so I failed a lot. But ultimately, I start like just every time I failed, I didn't think about like Dave Ramsey, like, oh, you don't want to do that. I thought, what did I do wrong? What can I learn from that? And that's how I really developed, my portfolio was failing, not giving up, not starting over somewhere new. A lot of us will go out and we'll have a failure and then we'll say, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. I want to do this. Well, you're starting over from zero if you start with something new. Start with something you've already failed at because you're a lot closer to success once you failed. Take a chance on yourself, man. Take a chance. The only person that can determine your outcome is you. And the only thing that will determine is if you're a failure is if you quit and give up. Come on, let's do a couple more questions.
Yep, I have one from Lewis's iPhone. He said, hey, Nate, I have a duplex finished remodeling last year, first flip, and got it occupied on both sides. I'm self-employed and don't got a POI, so how would I go about trying to pull money from the property? Then he has a follow-up question. Would a local bank like a credit union be best or a national bank on a DSCR loan?
Banks don't really do DSCR loans. Credit unions don't do DSCR. Now, let me explain this. Every bank and credit union looks at the DSCR on the deal. That's called the debt service coverage ratio. Any deal you do, you're going to want to have like a 1.2 debt service coverage ratio. That means that the property brings in 20,000 and let's say you got 8,000 expenses and you want to go borrow a mortgage and a mortgage is going to cost you $10,000 a year. You got $12,000 in cash flow. That meets the 1.2 threshold. Okay. But banks and credit unions are going to want to look at your financials, your debt to income. They don't use a lot of common sense. They just don't. Sorry. But there are what is called DSCR lenders, and they don't look at your debt to income. They do look at your credit. They want you to have about at least a 660 credit score. And so if you don't have a 660 credit score, that's okay. You can get one. I had a 450 credit score at one time. My credit score now is like an 830. So once you get above about a 740, it doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't. And so you can turn your credit around. What seems like you can't because you're living in it, you can in a few years, you can do it, right? But the DSCR lenders, they underwrite the property. They say, well, this property is bringing in this income. So they don't look at you personally. And that's why DSCR lenders can help you scale. What they're doing is they're creating this mortgage note a lot of times, and they're selling this paper off to people that just want a coupon. So right now, if you want a 10-year treasury coupon, it's going to pay you about 3.6, 3.7%. If you can probably loan into one of these DSCR lenders and you go into one of their REITs, basically it's a REIT. And look, don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but I'm assuming it's a REIT. It's a REIT that's buying all this paper and they're just buying coupons. They're saying these are coupons that are backed by cash flow and real estate, right? And so they have formulas that they use, and they may say, hey, instead of getting a 3.7% return, we'll give you a 5% return, and they take the spread or whatever. But that's how these big institutions work. And so they just found that the same way that I buy multifamily, they don't too much look at my income. They look at the income of the property, and they just do it at a single family level.
We have another question from JJ. He said, how is maintenance and carrying costs factored into this model?
How is maintenance and what?
And carrying costs factored into this model?
I mean, they're all right here. I mean, it's everything that we have is a spreadsheet that we have people go through, and it's a step by step, spreadsheet. So you'll have your property address up here, your comps. You'll have let's say you're going to do a 75% loan here, at 6.5%. Your rent's going to be $1,900. Your maximum purchase plus renovation is 151 because we know it's going to appraise at 201 and we only want to borrow 75%. We want to have no money in the deal. So our maximum is 75% of that, right? Our construction, let's say, is 11 grand. Our closing costs, our holding costs, our utilities while vacant, these are all project costs here. Our contingency, our total cost are 24,150. My max offer is 127 for this property. I got over 78 grand. I'm going to get a check back for 50,000 almost at closing. Now, when you start to go into what kind of expenses does this property have, right? You got to go into right here. What's your advertising, your insurance, your legal and professional, your management fees, your your operating expenses here, your taxes, your insurance, your maintenance, your gas and electric. I always tell my students, hey, look, put your property's going to go vacant. They say, I ain't paying the gas and electric, water and sewage. Well, when it goes vacant, your tenant's not going to pay it. So if you know it's going vacant every 30 months and you set aside $3 a month over 30 months, you're going to have $100. So say it's vacant for a whole a month, you're going to be paying that gas and electric, water and sewage. And you're going to be paying for your your turnovers. Budget for that. That's going to $75. Set that aside in reserves. Your legal, your advertising, set that aside. Your CPA, your landscaping. These are all things that you don't pay for, but these are going to be. So my total to hold this property is $6,492. And if I go back over here and I look at this property, it hits a 1.3 debt service coverage ratio, brings in $1,900 a month, 94% occupancy, which is $1,786 on average, $21,432 yearly. My expenses are $6,492. My NOI after all my expenses is $14,940. My mortgage is $11,472. Hits a 1.3 debt service coverage ratio. So you got to be very analytical about that. But then here are the things where people miss. What are my capital repairs year 2 through 5 and year 6 through 10? You have to get granular into this stuff. You have to know that everything you have in here has an age on it when it's likely to break. And when you're doing this, you don't get so upset and overwhelmed when things break because you've already factored them in on the front side. You know how to buy. Does that make sense, everybody? That's how you scale. That's how we're able to go buy thousands of units, because we know how to make sure that we're going to have plenty of capital. We know what things are going to break. We know when we go do a cash out refi, like the one we just did for 7.5 million, you know, 2 million of that goes back to the property. It's not our money. 2 million of that goes back to the property. Them are reserves. The other 5 million now, you get to play ball with that, right? Then I'm not worried about it. They say, oh my God, we need a new roof. Put it on. It's already budgeted. We knew that thing was going to need a new roof. We just thought maybe we could get away with it, right? That property went from 17 million to $45 million in 5 years. That was just one property, right? And so what I'm teaching you guys is at such a high level. Nobody's going to show you this stuff on single family homes. But I've done over $500 million in BRRRRs. This is what I do. But I really found my passion was helping people who struggle in life. You know, it wasn't so much the money. You know, I know how to make a lot of money in real estate. I mean, I could go become a billionaire if I want. I know how to do it. It's not rewarding, though. It's more rewarding to hang out with people who I know are going to likely struggle the rest of their life away if they don't change what they're doing. And then their kids are going to struggle, right? And so with all the information that I got out of life, I just want to give it back to everybody, right? So I started a mentorship. I gave out like 100 scholarships. I've seen that people don't take action. They don't take action if you give them stuff for free. Number one. Number two, I got like over 20 something people to work on our team. So we have a really good fulfillment process. Fulfillment meaning we're going to fulfill and deliver to you guys. And when you guys get in our mentorship, you're in for life, man. It's not like, I mean, I'm in a bunch of masterminds and I pay yearly. One of them's 68,000 a year. Another one's 35,000 a year. Another's 20,000 a year. Another one is 35,000. Then you got to pay monthly after the first year. So look, man, I understand that going to college is not going to get me there quick. And when I want answers to something, I want to go to somebody that's already been there that can show me the shortcut. And that's what I can provide for you guys who are really looking to scale and take charge of your financial future. I can't do the work for you, but I can give you the knowledge. I can give you the support. I can give you the network. I can give you that, like we got over 40 city groups. So, you know, man, this is my thing, man. That's what I love doing. And I got people like Christos and Val and, you know, like Ray. He just joined. Ray, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Ray, hey, can you cut Ray Vaughn on? Ray, you on every call, man. How you doing, brother?
Should be able to speak.
Ray, can you talk, man? You got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I can. What's up?
What's
man?
up, Ray? How you doing today, brother?
Good, good. I'm in Kansas City for work this week. But yeah,
Awesome, man.
I'm on the calls.
Yep. So how long ago was it that you didn't join? You haven't been in the academy too long, man. But what are you learning, man?
The whole appreciation aspect, that was just mind blowing to me because I was in it originally for the cash flow. I have some rentals where Tico lives. I used to live in his city, and I've known him for a while. And that's all I focused on was the cash flow. But appreciation was just mind blowing because you're printing money.
Yeah, yeah. And I thank you for all the work you giving back, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yep. Glad I joined. Good to be here.
Yeah, thank you, man. And hey, thank you for getting on the calls, man. You're gonna crush it, brother. You're gonna crush it, man. Have a good time in Kansas City, brother.
Thanks.
Yep.
We have another question, Nate, from Chris's iPhone. He said, thoughts on 2 to 4 unit small multis, or would you suggest starting with single families only?
No, 2 to 4s are good. You know, I suggest you find a deal. Don't just go bite off too much, but a 2 to 4 unit is easy, right? All right, Tommy, thank you, man. Appreciate you, brother. Tommy said he got to jump. See you later, brother.
We have,
All right, Val. Val,
Yeah.
my cigar almost gone. We got like 2-3 more questions.
Yep. We have another one from Corrado Jackson. Should we send letters out or directly call these owners when wholesaling? Similar to the other question, I think.
You should knock on a door. You should put a sign in front of their house. We got one of our We got one of our students, Okino. He was actually the first person to become a millionaire. Took him about 7 months to become a millionaire in the academy. He couldn't get this person to answer a call. So he went and put a bandit sign in their front yard that said for rent. And he put his phone number on there. And they called him immediately, right? You do what you got to do to get in touch with the owner. And he told him, he said, hey, man, you ain't been returning my call. I'm trying to get a hold of you. I'm going to buy your property. Right? You do what you got to do to get them to call you, man. If you want the property bad enough, you send out flyers, you knock on their door. You know, if you know that they need to sell, right? So you do what you got to do.
We have one from Matt Melton. He said, how can you find a good deal properties being a small fish? I'm with a couple wholesale sites and seems like sharks get the good ones and I'm left with the scraps.
Go find your own deals, man. Don't depend on other people. You know, go eat what you kill. Go find that stuff yourself. I just showed you guys how you can download Deal Machine, get a free week trial. You go in there, you click on that button, you call on these owners. You know they behind on their taxes. You know if they're a tired landlord. You know if they're an out-of-state owner. You know they may have a whole portfolio. Just call them and talk to them. Say, hey, and you may screw up. Here's the great thing about Deal Machine. If you don't know what to say, it has AI embedded in it. AI will tell you, it'll listen to their conversation and tell you what to say. All you got to do is read off of it. And if you screw up 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 20 times, you'll get better and better and better. Just think about this. When you guys were in your mom's womb, you didn't know how to breathe, but y'all been breathing effortlessly this whole time, right? So you learn how to do things over and over and over without thinking about them. But first, you got to do them.
We have another question from Hawan. He said, how do you skip trace properties LLC owners?
Deal Machine. Deal Machine does all that for you. You don't have to do all that. It skip traces them right there on the spot. It'll give you their phone numbers. It'll give you their emails. You click on that. Literally, when I was just on there, I could have hit that button. It would have called them off my computer and I could have talked to them. And it would have popped up a local number, not my number, a number that is associated with my Deal Machine. And then I could have left them a voicemail, or if they call me back, I can have it set up where I got a voicemail. Hey, this is Nate. Sorry, I missed your call. Right. And they can leave you a message. You can go through there and get leads that way.
We have another question from Andrew Weaver. He said, what about property taxes? I haven't heard you speak on that yet.
Yeah, property taxes are all in our analysis over there. That was in the taxes, insurance, all that's built into everything. When we say net operating income, that's net operating income, right? That has everything except your capital repairs, and which capital repairs might be a roof, might be a HVAC unit. That should not be a normal operational, and your debt service. It doesn't have that in there.
We have one from Zoom user. It says, does wholesaling also pulling up Zillow and calling a listing house and trying to get a buy on it? I think he was asking if that's still applicable for wholesaling.
Yeah, you can, but you got to do for sale by owner. A lot of times, I mean, you can put things under contract that are on MLS, but let's say you get it under contract, you're trying to wholesale it, like that's a little muddier, right? Because you got time constraints, you got more sophisticated realtors in there. A lot of times I sell stuff off, and I want to make sure it's not a wholesaler that is doing it. So I'll find out where their funding is. I'll look up who's writing the contract, because I don't want no wholesaler getting a hold of my property. I want an actual buyer who's going to buy it, because a wholesaler may or may not deliver on a contract. And if it's a wholesaler, I'd be like, hey, man, you got to put $5,000 down hard, which means your money, you're going to lose it if you don't close on a deal.
We have another question from Isaiah. He said, my grandfather mows for a landlord who is, no disrespect, coming to his life expectancy/retirement. What would be a good way to approach about potential units he may have?
I would say, yeah. I mean, how do you approach them? Just say, hey, hey, man, I always wanted to get into real estate. I know you got some real estate. I'd love to get in the game, Grandpa. It just depends on your relationship, but absolutely. You just got to be, you got to know, like a lot of older people, they don't want to talk about that stuff, but that's the reality. Christos said something. Hey, Christos, I got to go in here and use the restroom. I'll be right back out. Can you answer a few questions?
No problem.
And I'm going to grab me another water. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Christos, we have one from Carson L. Brooks. He said, hey, you're a real hustler. Have you ever invested in tax deeds? That's a Nate question. I have bought homes for $1,400. That's what he said.
Yeah, tax deeds are good. There's there's a couple of members in the academy that we have one that actually teaches how to find them and source those deals. I think they're good, but it depends on what you're going to do with them. Are you going to hold? So create a plan, right? You purchase a property and then you're going to be, you purchase it for a cheap price, but then there's going to come expenses and things like that. What's your plan with it? What are you going to do after you acquire it? Are you going to wholesale it? Are you going to BRRRR it? Are you going to flip it? Is it in an appreciating area? Study your market and understand that and have an exit plan. Have multiple exit plans in that strategy. So those are some of the things that I would highly suggest that you take on. A little comment for Isaiah in regards to the grandfather that mows for a landlord. See if there's a need, add value. That was for the comment right before this. Just be in service without any intention either. Just be there to serve and see what comes of it.
We have one from Gary Barber. He said, is the deal machine working for the Canadian market?
I do not believe Deal Machines International. Now, we do have actually in our last regional rally that was in Cincinnati in April. Val, I think you remember there was 2 gals from Canada.
Yeah.
And they actually were buying in other markets. So we do have students that are international, studying, purchasing, and making things happen here in the US. Same principles apply as it relates to studying your market, understanding, and doing all of that.
Yeah, the debt and the tax code is a little different, and I'm going to show you guys something real quick. And I appreciate you, everybody hanging in here. Who has the capacity in their mind right now to see one more thing? You guys do? Okay. Let me show you something real quick, okay? So what we built this spreadsheet out for is I'm going to show you guys something. This is the maker schedule. This stands for Modified Adjusted Cost Recovery System. These are our prices here that we pay. $450 per window installed. This property has 14 windows. So going out looking through year 10, we're not going to need any more windows, right? Them windows are going to last. Glass block, 200 a piece times 6. Electric install, $7 a square foot if I'm doing the whole house. And this house here is 1,100 square feet, right? So now on a lot of houses, I'm not going to rewire, but if I am, this is what the electric's going to cost me here. $7,700, right? So let's say my plumbing and install, $750 a fixture. Let's say this has a full bath, which is 3 fixtures, your vanity, your toilet, your bathtub. Let's say it has a half bath. There's going to be 2 more, your toilet, your vanity, your 5 fixtures. You got washer and dryer, which is 6. You got your kitchen, which is 7, and you got your hot water tank, which is 8. Okay. So I'm doing all new plumbing, all new electric in here. My roofing, let's say I'm gonna put a new roof on here, and this roof here is $300 a square. A square is a 10 by 10 section. We just got one done today for $200, but I'm not gonna go down through that. A lot of people are paying. And then what I'm gonna do is show you the reason why we're able to find deals and the reason why people can't is because they don't know their construction numbers. And I'm going to show you here. So let's say this roof is, 1,100 square feet. It's probably, if it's a ranch, it's probably going to be a 1.5 on that. So it's going to be 1,100 times. It's going to be about 16 square. Let's just say. That'll give me a rough estimate. HVAC system. Let's say the HVAC system's good. Concrete. Let's say we got 200 square feet outside that we got to do. Some concrete blocks busted up. Doors. Let's say we're going to replace all the doors in there. It's got 12 doors. There's going to be new single hung doors. Or single hung doors. We're going to do nice one. We're not going to do the 6 panels. They're going to be about $180 a door. Then you got your door hardware, which is going to be, about 15, 20 bucks. Then you got your install, which 50, 60 bucks. You got your shims, you got your screws, call it $300 a door. Framing, $10 a 2x4. So let's say we're changing the floor plan a little bit, and we ordered 120 of those, and then that's just labor. So let's say it costs us $15 for labor and material. That's 1,800 bucks. Drywall, let's say this thing is 1,100 square feet. I'm going to show you how to calculate this. So it's 1,100 square feet times 4. We're going to take the area, and let's just say that this is and this is going to be a rough estimate. Let's say I'm using 12x4 boards. So I'm going to divide this by 48, and this is going to give me a rough estimate of how many boards I'm going to need for this whole property. 91.6. So I'm going to go back over here, plug this in. So I got, 92 boards here, 92 sheets of drywall. I got one patio door back here. So, let's say landscaping, tree removal, 2,500 bucks, just clean up the outside, pressure washing, tile and material. Let's say I'm doing a bathtub's about 60, 62 square feet of tile. So let's just say I got that in my backsplash. Say I got 100 square feet. That's labor and material. My backsplash is going to be in my kitchen, fencing and signage. That's ×1. Siding, I don't have any siding. Hot water tank. Now, hot water tank install is already included, but I got to buy the hot water tank. Security cameras, I'm not going to do that. Light fixtures, just 600 for the whole property. Now I could go and break it down if I wanted to. Cabinets, let's say I got 12 cabinets in here, 300 a piece. That's going to be the cabinet. Cabinet on average, if I'm using solid wood with plywood boxes, it's probably going to be closer to 350, 360. But if I'm using just the regular off-the-shelf stuff, I can usually get them for about 190 to 220 a cabinet, and $50 for install. Then I got my shims and I got my screws. So my countertop, let's say I got 25 square feet in there, $50 a square foot. This is granite. Toilets are, those are 150 a piece. So you can get them cheaper than that. I already paid the plumber for the install. Faucets, these are, let's say 75 bucks each. I'm going to get some nice ones. And let's say I got 3 in this house. I got one for the kitchen, one for the half bath, one for the full bath, shower and tub faucet. Those are $225. Sink granite cutout. That's going to be $200 for that, and $200 for the cutout, and $175 for the sink. So I'm going to be at $375. And vanities. So let's say I got one of these here, one of these here, and my vanities, I got 2. I'm going to do some really nice vanities with cultured marble. So, these are my expenses here. $55,760. That's going to come back over here, and it's going to tell me that now my max offer on this deal is $73,358. So I was at $78,000. I'm going to come back and after inspections, and I'm going to offer 70 grand. That means that I can do this deal and I'll still walk away after closing with 3,300 bucks. So you're just taking the ARV, the value of the properties, you're running your comps over here. You're doing 75% because we know that's what the bank will loan. We're going to make sure that we hit our debt service coverage ratio. We go over here to our operating expenses here, which there goes your taxes. The guy earlier said we didn't have taxes or insurance in here. That's all in here. That's $6,494. So I don't know why that's not totaling over here, but $6,400. That's 18, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's totaling up in there. I just don't know why it's not showing up in over here. So, because does that make sense, everybody? It's not showing up, but it's adding up. If you add that up, I think it is. So then if I go over here and I say, okay, boom, found this property, It's kind of run down. It's going to be worth 200,000, but it needs a lot of work. Well, what work does it need? Well, we already broke it all out over here, right? And then if you get into the bonus depreciation we were talking about earlier, that's where you get into your 27 and a half year depreciable items. Each one of these have a different classification. Your 27 and a half year items, your 15 under the tax code. And so what you'll have is your total year one bonus depreciation will be 9,900, and then your basis depreciation. So your total tax write-off will be 13.7 this first year. Now that could change if this goes back up to, 100%. Then that moves and we get a $20,000 write-off. That is supposed to happen this year. It's already passed. I don't know how the political stuff works. It already passed the House or the Senate, whichever one it goes through first, and it has to go to the other. So they've already said, hey, we're going to pass that. But it was supposed to go in May. I haven't checked this week, but I haven't even checked in about 3-4 weeks, actually. I probably would have got a call from my CPA if it passed. This is kind of like really getting a high level, right? But this thing here will let me know what my maximum offer is on a property. And I got a 20% construction contingency for overages too. Now, here's what happens when people say, I can't find a deal. Here's why they can't find a deal. Because their window guy saying, hey, man, windows are $700 a piece. Okay. Glass block, they're paying, $250 a piece. Their electric install, they're paying, at least probably $14 a square foot. Their plumbing install, they're probably paying $1,200 a fixture or more. Their roofing, they're paying $500. And that's why when I hear people in the big group, they're like, oh, you can't get it done for that price. It's like, nah, dude, you can. I can. They're paying $16 a square foot for their concrete. For their doors, they're paying, $450 to $500, let's just say. Their framing, they're paying, guys charging them $30 for every stick they're putting in there. Their drywall, they're paying, $100 a board. And you hear them in the big group all the time. That's what they're paying, man. And that's why we kind of laugh at them in our in our private group. We got a private group in our mentorship because we're like, hey man, I don't know how they buying any property. Like that's who we competing against. Man, they can't compete against us because why? They don't know their numbers. They got the guy that comes out and tells them it's $5,500 to do this. Pressure washing gonna be $1,200. Watch what just happens here. Tile, you can't get tile done for that. Okay, so they want to pay $30 a square foot. And so on and so forth. What other items we got in here? Signing, I mean, hot water tank, they're paying, probably $1,200 for this. Light fixtures, they're, probably spending $1,000 on them. They're not sourcing them. Cabinets, they're paying, $550 a cabinet. Countertops, they're paying $70 a square foot. Toilets, they're probably paying $200. Faucets, they're maybe they're getting faucets for that price and mixer valves and, their sink cut out, their vanities, maybe they're getting them for 500. But what happens there is now you go back over here and they just lost the deal, right? Why did they lose the deal? Because they're saying, man, my max offer has to be 28,000. So now I go offer the guy 28,000. And he tells me to kick rocks because he has an offer for 70,000. Right. And so what just happened was they come in and they say, hey, man, I can't ever find a deal. Well, why can't you find a deal? Because you don't know your numbers. You're calling the contractor to tell you how much your property should be. And that is the biggest thing right there that will help you understanding how to put this stuff together. And then you stay in control of the job. You're not giving people down payments to go buy material. We are controlling that process, which is not very time consuming if you're organized. And that is one of the biggest keys to success right there. So just wanted to show you guys that, right? So if you learn the system that we have, I'm not going to sit here and tell you like it's going to be like easy, but I will tell you, you'll fall in love with it. You'll fall in love with doing this stuff and it won't feel like work. And there will be times when you get frustrated, but this is 5 years And if you do it right, you can retire for the rest of your life. So, like I said earlier, man, you know, it's kind of three choices. You can do nothing, probably be in the same situation you're in 5 years from now. You could go out and try to figure this stuff out on your own, be frustrated. Maybe a year or two from now, you come back and say, man, I just need to get a mentor. Or even worse, you're messaging me saying, Nate, can you help me out, man? I got myself in a bad situation. Or you can learn from my mistakes. You can learn from the support group that we got. You can jump in here and learn what's going to take you 20 years, maybe if you're lucky to learn, and you can learn it in a matter of months. See, time is the one thing we don't have more of. And so, you know, like I said, man, hey, we got the best mentorship out here. We do. We got results. We got dozens and we got people all over the country becoming millionaires doing this. So if you guys want to learn more about it, hear more about it, you know, just say information below. I know there's a lot of people that commented earlier. But look, man, we got you. Get on a call with us and we'll let you know if, hey, this is a good fit, or if it's not, you know, we'll give you some videos that maybe help you understand it a little bit more. But I hope that, you know, you are a lot more educated about the system and about how money works right now than you were before this call. And for those of you that are like on here every week, just keep tuning in, because I'm telling you, it's going to click one day. It's going to click. Like everything I'm telling you, I don't expect you to get it right now. It's a lot of information. Took me 20 something years to learn all this. So I don't expect you to get it in like, you know, an hour or 2 hour live. But if you want to skip a lot of the pain that I went through and learn from my pain, and you know, like I said, just comment information below, man. And it's not just me, man. It's a lot of the people that are in the academy, like, you know, who I see on here, Dominique and Rayvon and Christos um and you know, there's so Jeremy Hughes, he's over there ducked off, but he's out there at his mansion right now. Last September, Jeremy was he was broke. He's got over $1 million net worth right now. That was less than a year ago. Now he took massive action. He did. And he bought, I mean, he just, you know, you become unstoppable when you got the right information and the right people around you. If you have the energy to pour out. What's up, son? What you doing? So man, let's go to two more questions, man. And Val, thank you so much for hosting tonight. Everybody give Val a round of applause, man. Thank you, Val. We appreciate you. Donald's gone. And Donald's, you about to go to bed, son? All right, man. We got to get up and get this in the morning, bro.
Okay, and then is John coming over here tomorrow?
I will text him and have him come over. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome, son. You're gonna have to drive down there. I got to go to Columbus tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna take my camera. You take your Tesla, and then I put it on the charger. So
you put my car on the charger? All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right. So let's go to a couple more questions, man.
Yep, we have one from Umar. He said, "Hey Nate, what do you think about investing in the Midwest? Is the appreciation too low?"
Depends on where you at. Like you got to go zip code by zip code, street by street. Like there's great appreciation here, right? But you guys got to understand, man, this is not a throwing a dart. This is using analytical data to show you what street you should be buying on. And because you could hit one street that gets the appreciation, you could be 3 streets off and you missed it. And you may be hanging on to that thing for 12 or 15 years before it happens. And so knowing what's happening, where the momentum is and what's driving that. One of the hottest markets in the country right now is actually Columbus, Ohio. Intel, they got Ohio State up there. They got a $4 billion hospital. They just cancer center up there. And I know this because I own a hotel up there. I'm going up to it tomorrow. They have a $100 billion chip facility, which is the largest private development in the history of the United States. At the time when they announced it 2 years ago, there may be something bigger than that now, but part of the CHIP Act, Intel's over there building, right? So the Midwest is great because we're landlord friendly. you can still get in. The cost to get in, the barrier to enter, and there's a lot of companies that are moving here because we don't have all that crazy political risk. Like, you think about when you go to these big cities, man, there's so much entitlement. And would you want to move a city to a place where you got a bunch of entitlement? Now, you don't want them type of employees, right? You want people that are going to come and work, right? So, I mean, the Midwest is good, man. And it's a good place to raise kids. Cheap housing still. So if it's cheap housing, it means you can pay the employees less, right? I don't need to make as much to live there.
We have another question from Kinesia. She said, do tax deeds prop have restrictions?
It's different. Every state is different on tax deeds. Thank you, Umar. Appreciate you. Yeah, so that's like, you just have to dig into the area. We actually do have one of my students that is she's the Orlando president, and she actually specializes in tax deeds. She flies all over the country and buys them.
We have another question from Kia Kolbosh. She said, can I start BRRRR with not too much cash? I've been wholesaling, but at the end of the day, it's a job. I want to build wealth.
So my partner, Jarius, who, if you guys can jump on to his live Thursday at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, use the same Zoom link to come in. He started off and he's done over 1,000 wholesale deals. And he realized the same thing. He realized that it's not really getting me any closer to my goals. And he wanted passive income. So today, Jarius he burrs, He's got a couple going on right now. He's got one, he's going full gut right now that we just walked Sunday. And that one he bought for 100. He's putting 100 into this, worth a little over 300,000. And Jarius has over 30 million in real estate. So he started in 2015. Phone call he made to me. And I was out, I had my son right there. One that just came over here earlier today, was out like on a Wednesday or Thursday, out sled riding with him. And he asked me, aren't you supposed to be at work? And I was like, nah, dude, like, yeah. And so that's the thinking, right? So no, you don't need to work. You work from your phone. You work when you want. You got responsibilities though that you got to hit. What's up, buddy?
No, I was just gonna wait for you to finish.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's do 2 more questions, everybody. I know I've been saying that, man. And again, thank you guys for tuning in, man. For those of you that are going to get on the call, I look forward to, hearing back from you, at least seeing you on here next week with your questions. Maybe some of you guys may even say, hey, man, this is the thing that I needed to really help me solve the problems that I'm struggling with. But for those of you that just, man, show up every week, man, that's, I appreciate you guys getting on here. Because this is what I love, teaching people this stuff.
We have a question from De Juan. He said, hey, what do you think about starting the BRRRR method in Kansas City with business credit?
Yeah, Kansas City's hot. You just got to pick the right neighborhood out there. Ray Vaughn's out there right now, but we got a city group out there in Kansas City where, if you join our private group, you get access to the president, and, they have meetups and stuff out there as well. So, yeah, we got them in Chicago. We got a strong group. They was just down at Wrigley Field. I was kind of mad, man. They ain't invite me over there to Wrigley Field with them. Thank you, Suzette. Yep.
We have one from Milton. He said, hold on, I just lost it. Give me 1 sec. The chat's going crazy. That's awesome. Okay, hold on. Well, we have one from Jonathan Perez. He said, what do you think about DSCR loans?
Yeah, they're good. And some of them you can get non-recourse too. They're good loans. I mean, you may pay a little bit more than a traditional bank, but they're a lot easier to do. And they understand, they give you the ability to scale.
We don't have any. Oh, yeah, we don't have any other questions coming in. There was one from Milton, but I think it got deleted because I don't see it.
Man, well, listen, man, I thank you all so much, everybody. Are you still on Instagram, or did it kick you off?
Instagram should be still live.
Thank you guys over there on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom group, man. Zoom. We appreciate you guys, girls. Please jump on. Let me know what you guys, if you could drop down in the chat, what you learned and what you want to know about next week. And if you guys want to see how to find deals, make sure that you jump on Jairus's call, this same exact Zoom link. I'll be on there too, Thursday at 12 o'clock p.m. We're going to go find some deals off market and show you guys how to do it. We're going to show you how to download the app that I was showing you earlier. Jairus is an expert at this stuff. I mean, every time he calls people, it just amazes me. He just he doesn't like give up. He keeps talking to the people, even when they're like mad and angry at him. He just keeps talking to them until they're like, maybe I do want to sell my house. If he can get somebody on the line, right? He's an amazing communicator. And you know, because if we know we're calling them and they're behind on taxes and we've looked at the house, we know the house is kind of run down, then we already know that they're in a position where they really need to sell or they need something to happen. So I can't wait to see that call that he's on. And okay, so let's read some of what you guys have learned here, man. So let's see. So Christos is talking about fund and grow. Yeah. So Caden, come here and tell them how we bought this property, man. So hold on, y'all. I'm gonna let my son take this for a second here. You feel like a 50-year-old? Yeah, he went to work for one day and he talking about he feel like a 50-year-old.
I don't know. I worked out at the gym now. I feel old.
Go ahead, man.
So just how we bought it?
Yeah, tell them what you had to do. So how did we get? So we got a link with Fund and Grow, and that's how I was able to get all them credit cards and do credit card stacking in my business name. So we literally bought this house today with credit cards that are 0%. Where are all my credit cards at, man?
I got one of them. You got the big ones, though. I only got the 3K
Yeah.
one.
So this one here, I think. Let's see here. This one here.
That's yours.
That's mine. I had like 70 grand on it, but they got me this one. This 26,500. This one's 25,000. This one's 25,000. This one's 15,000. So this is what we bought and I got one or two more, I think. This is what we bought the house with. But what app did you have to download to buy them with this?
Show them this one, dude. It's got everything.
Got the information.
Bro.
Y'all need to go buy some stuff. Look, you got the last 4 digits. That's all you need. Okay, so it don't matter. You maxed it out anyways, bro. It ain't nothing on there. Y'all gonna get rejected. So tell them what app did you download to use them credit cards on?
We downloaded Plastic. So all it does is I put the credit cards in there, and then when I send over the money, it looks like it's a wire coming from a bank. So they're not gonna be like, oh, they're getting this money from a credit card, all this stuff. And they're not gonna be skeptical about it. It's just gonna look like the money's coming from a bank.
Yeah, and then so what kind of interest rate do we got to pay on this?
0% for 12 to 18 months, but then for the app, we have to pay 2.5%. That's a flat fee. So if you pay $100,000 through it, you have to pay $2,500.
Yep. So relatively cheap money. Don't have to pay any interest on it. And he'll have that property either sold or rented by the time these credit cards come up, and we'll either have refinanced out of it or sold the property. And you'll have about $139,000 in equity. So that's just one deal, man. So how hard do you think it is to do 2 deals your first year?
I don't know. I just got to get through this one first. This one I think is going to be, I'm going to learn the most on it because everything I'm doing on this one, it's my first time. I have no idea on a lot of stuff. So I think, yeah, I'll be able to do 2 more. I think the 2 more will be way easier than just this one, because this one I have no clue how anything works.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to get how stuff works, because we had to call contractors out today and get the title signed over. And that stuff isn't that complicated. It's complicated, but it's not as complicated as you think. Because, a lot of people think of contracts are like, man, I'm going to have to sit there for 10 hours and sign 300, 500 pages of documents and for my whole day.
And how long were we there at the closing company?
We were there about 20 minutes. But it was only about 5 pages.
Yeah, but signing papers, because we were waiting, we were there early, right?
Yeah, we could have probably done it. It got done like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, Gary, that's the plan. I want them to overtake me, man. I want all you guys to overtake me. I want all you guys to be bigger than me, because what this is about is just really about changing your family's future, man. So what question did you have, Caden?
A lot. I just had something about the property.
About the property, what question you got?
So tomorrow I'll probably get a glass block window guy, right? All right.
So you got glass block window guy coming, you got the roofer coming in the morning, you got the demo getting completed, you got the dumpster coming tomorrow.
And then how are they gonna do the roof without a dumpster? Just throw it all off, and then the demo guys can just throw away the roof when the dumpster.
Nah, the dumpster guys, $95 a square, and they take care of their own dump. They got a dump trailer.
Yeah, but I don't think it's gonna be there when they start the roof.
No, they bring their own dump trailer. They tow it behind their truck with them. They bring it to the job.
The roof people.
Yeah, the roof people are going to pull right up in the front. They're probably going to pull up in the front yard, put their trailer right there on the front.
Okay, so they can just go in the front yard, and then the actual dump guy, he can put his trailer on that driveway part that we said where they can throw all the stuff out the window.
Yep. So you have to tell them don't park in the driveway because we got to tell them we got a dumpster coming. So you got to.
So they're going to be throwing all that stuff out of the dumpster from all those 3 windows, right? Probably.
Nah, they're gonna carry it. They'll carry it out. They ain't got that much demo. Yeah, they'll just carry it out. But that's a good point. You got to call the guy and Marcellus and tell him don't park in the driveway, pull up in the grass, because we got a 30-yard dumpster coming for the driveway tomorrow.
Okay, and the reason I was asking that.
Here, you got to speak into the mic. They can't hear you.
Tear out those windows. Then we have to get up some planks there to make sure nobody.
So who's coming there at 9 o'clock in the morning to meet you?
9 in the morning. Marcellus said he was coming at 9, not 7. He says he got to drop some of his guys off.
Okay, so the Rupert's coming at 9 in the morning. Who else? The flooring guy.
I think the flooring.
And Jose's the framer, right?
Jose's the everything.
Jose's gonna come in. Them windows you tear out, he's gonna frame them up. Because we had to move the kitchen. So he's gonna frame them up tomorrow. Tell him you want them framed in, you want the siding, you want them framed in, you want the outside Tyvek, you want insulation in, and then we can start putting the drywall back in. Probably not tomorrow, but the next day. No, probably Monday, because the electrician and plumber still got to come in.
Yeah, I have to go over all that technical stuff with Devo because I don't know what that stuff means. Tyvek and all this.
Yep. That's all right. You'll learn it, man.
Yeah.
So, 12 p.m. Eastern on Thursday. Yes. Nate, active duty vet and currently military reserve guy working in corporate America. I'll drive from here in Port Huron and meet in Columbus and join the academy. I have 1 rental property in Coral Springs, Florida, and want to purchase 2 properties. I can't, man. I got my investors flying in town tomorrow. I have I don't know their position, but I got some high up people coming in town tomorrow who manage my properties for me from the management company. They're flying in town from Maryland. So I'm going to be covered up with them. But we do have a really strong group up in Columbus. We got T. Marie. She's the president up there. Man, she's killing it. Her first year, she became a millionaire. Her first year in the academy, she's a stay-at-home mom working 20 hours a week. She became a millionaire. She's really organized and she finds deals. She's a hustler. And so she's a city president group up there and she has meetups all the time. I mean, she's just an amazing person. So I'd love to talk to you, brother. We are having a cruise too next month, the BRRRR 360 cruise, and that's going to be really fun. It's going to be on Royal Caribbean, Allure of the Seas. That's going to be awesome. Nate, I'd love to meet you, man. But unfortunately tomorrow, man, I don't know what my day is going to be like because I got this. They're flying in town from Georgia and Maryland, and I got to meet all them tomorrow. I don't know how long I'm going to be. Oh, and we have meetups all the time here in Cincinnati too. We had 2 last week. Then we're gonna have some next week. So if you want to come down next week, man, I'd love to meet you, brother. Val, you gone, Val?
Nope, I'm here. I'm still here.
Okay. So Crystal said, be cautious of the percentage of debt carried on a balance. It could affect your credit. Yeah, it can, but that's why we deal with the people we deal with, because we're only doing business credit, and we're only doing the credit cards that don't show up in my personal credit name. So it doesn't hurt me. I can go max this stuff out. It doesn't show up on my personal credit. But Christos, you're absolutely right. I've seen people get slaughtered like that. So Dewan, I would highly recommend Christos, if you could give them the link to that to who we use, the link that we got, they'll give you like $500 off, and they'll give you 2 people on your sign up. Cordaro Jackson, where's the meet up in Cincinnati? Man, like next week we're going to be meeting at the property at a property that my son's doing next week. Our local academy members are going to be meeting there. I know Dominique, she always coming out. And you know, then Jarius is going to have people meeting over there at his property too. So we got a couple renovations going on in Cincinnati right now. And we do this stuff like all across the country. We got over 40 city groups too. Like you said, Chicago, New York, you know, Indianapolis, you know, Kentucky. We got Sean Derringer, which he ain't on here tonight, but man, all over the country, man. California, Florida, Texas. I mean, Seattle, we're everywhere. Any more questions before we get off of here?
Yeah, we have one from Aaron. He said, so for the first property, would you get it with a bank loan? Question mark.
Now you probably want to do a fix and flip on your first property because that's how you get around putting a lot of money up. If you're going to banks are looking for stabilized assets. They're not looking for things that need renovated most of the time, unless you got a relationship with them, and they're not typically going to give you funding to do the renovation. So you're looking for a fix and flip lender. Then you're looking at, once you get that done, you're looking to take that out into a DSCR loan. Fix and flip lender will give you the money, the proceeds to renovate the property. Now they won't give it to you at closing. That's why it's important that you have these lines of credit, or you know how to move your numbers around. So you know, there's definitely a skill set to being able to do this and put your numbers together right. Val, again, man, I want to thank you so much for jumping on here. I know I said we would be like an hour and a half, and it's been 2.5 hours, but it's been great.
Yes.
You know what? I think from now on, you could just do this instead of Donald. No, I'm just kidding, Val. Hey, and Val, you did a good job, because I know it's a lot of stuff working behind that computer. You know, everybody on here, you think she's just on, you know, like here, but she's on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, but it's really a lot of stuff over there. So good job, Val.
Thank you, Nate. I appreciate it.
Yep. Hey, one more time, anybody that wants more information, say information below, and we'll reach out to you guys and girls. And for those of you that maybe just looking for some a free video training, you know, we got some trainings that go a little bit more deeper into. So if anybody just wants a training, you could say just comment training below as well. So Val, you coming to BRRRR 360, Val?
I should be. I still haven't gotten the details for that. I might have to get with Missy on that, but
Well, get with her. It's September the 23rd through the 27th. Going out of Miami, Florida. It's gonna be amazing, man. Thank you, Nate Barger team. We appreciate and love you guys, man. You guys go out here, man. Just see you guys Thursday, but man, just go out here, be kind, hold the door for somebody tomorrow. You know, just make somebody's day, man. You never know what people are going through in this world. There's a lot of stress and pressure. We are in the most, you know, what I believe the most free country in the world, but with that comes a lot of responsibilities. And like I said, I believe the indoctrination that we've been taught in school, it leads people down a path of, like, it could be a very stressful life because it feels very hard to get ahead with inflation eating away at us. But if you learn how to take inflation and use it to your advantage, it can create massive wealth. And that's what I've learned how to do. And then you have time to get back to other people. So I know a lot of you guys are saying, man, that's not fair. This inflation is slaughtering so many people, and there's, you know, landlords are getting wealthy off of it. Well, you ain't wrong. So, but what I'm going to tell you is this, man, go out here and get wealthy, then you can give back to people. It's hard to get back when you don't have anything. It really is. All right. Well, hey, man, I'll see you guys next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Love you guys. I'll see y'all later.